The Dallas Cowboys are entering a fascinating new chapter as they navigate through OTAs, prepare for minicamp, and start gearing up for training camp. And while fans count down the months until the NFL season kicks off, the conversation is already shifting toward what kind of team the Cowboys are going to field this year. And make no mistake, this could be a very different Cowboys squad than what we've seen in recent seasons. Right off the bat, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The coaching staff. The most significant change in Dallas this offseason didn't come in the form of a blockbuster trade or a marquee free agent signing. It came from within. Brian Schottenheimer is now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Let that sink in. Yes, he was part of the coaching staff last season, but this year he's not just a voice in the room, he is the voice in the room. And that alone has the potential to be the biggest X factor for this team. Maybe even more impactful than any player they've added or lost. What makes this so intriguing and risky is that Schottenheimer is stepping into the head coaching role for the very first time. The Cowboys didn't go out and grab a proven winner or someone with a long resume of success. They handed the keys to a guy who, up until now, has mostly lived in the shadows of other head coaches. That doesn't necessarily mean he's not ready. Sometimes a coach just needs the opportunity, but it does mean the range of outcomes for this season just got a lot wider. There's a universe in which Schottenheimer turns out to be the breath of fresh air this franchise is desperately needed. Maybe he's a hidden gem, someone who's been quietly studying the game, waiting for his moment, and now that it's here, he takes control and turns this team into a powerhouse. There's also the much darker version of that reality where he proves why no other team was banging down his door for a head coaching job. That's what makes this season so volatile. It could swing in either direction, and honestly, both feel equally possible. Compared to the end of Mike McCarthy's run, this offseason feels like a full-on reset. Almost everything has changed. Yes, some familiar faces are still around, but the structure, the strategy, and even the vibe of the team feel different. On offense, Schottenheimer now calls the plays, a major responsibility and a major test. On defense, Matt Eberflus steps in as the new coordinator, bringing a different style and a different energy. We've seen in the past that when a team brings in a new defensive coordinator, it can take some time for the players to adjust. That could be the case here too. Clayton Adams is now the offensive coordinator, albeit in a non-play calling role, which is another dynamic to watch. Then there's Nick Sorensen, who shifts from his previous role with the 49ers to handle special teams in Dallas. All in all, this is not just a fresh coat of paint. This is a full remodel. And the big question hovering over all of this is simple. How confident are you in this coaching staff? If you're being honest with yourself, where do you fall on the scale of 1 to 10? Because that's going to define how you view everything else that happens this offseason and into the year. Now, let's shift to the players. Because, of course, none of this works if the roster isn't up to par. Starting at quarterback, there's no surprise here. It's Dak Prescott. It has to be Dak. He's the leader, the face of the franchise, and frankly, the key to everything the Cowboys want to achieve. But there's a caveat that comes with that. He has to stay healthy. And for as tough as Dak has been throughout his career, and yes, he was an Iron Man early on, injuries have become a concern. Over the past 5 seasons, there's been a pattern. He plays a full year, then misses significant time the next. That can't continue. If the Cowboys want to make a real run, he has to be on the field, plain and simple. Beyond just being available, he has to be better. Last year's version of Dak wasn't good enough. For all the heat he took for the interceptions in 2022, it was the picks in 2024 that really hurt. And they felt more like his fault. Maybe he was pressing too hard, trying to do too much. Whatever the reason, that version of Dak won't cut it. They need the efficient, confident, dynamic quarterback that we saw flashes of in 2023. Otherwise, all the coaching changes and roster tweaks are going to be meaningless. When we look at the backfield, things get murkier. The running back room is arguably one of the biggest question marks heading into the season. There's no clear bell cow. Instead, we're looking at a committee approach, and that committee still feels very much in flux. Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, those are your main guys. And maybe Devon or Phil Maffa sneak into the conversation, but none of them feel like a sure thing. Javonte Williams is one of the more intriguing cases. He looked like a future star during his rookie season in Denver, showing a great combination of power and agility. But injuries slowed his momentum, and we haven't really seen that same explosive player since. Now, 2 full years removed from his injury, is this the year he returns to form? If not, you're probably looking at just another serviceable guy. And the rotation. Then there's Miles Sanders, who at one point looked like one of the best backs in the league with the Eagles. He averaged nearly 5 yards per carry during his best year in Philadelphia, carrying the ball over 250 times. But last season in Carolina, he was flat out bad. No way to sugarcoat it. So again, the Cowboys are banking on a bounce back. If that doesn't happen, they're in trouble. Jaden Blue is an X factor. He's young, he's raw, but he's got upside. You're not going to give him 200 carries. That's unrealistic. But could he touch the ball 200 times between rushes and receptions? Maybe. And if he can give you 10 plus touches a game and make some explosive plays, then suddenly he becomes a weapon you can't ignore. At wide receiver, things are a little more stable, at least at the top. CeeDee Lamb is the undisputed number 1, and George Pickens adds firepower to the outside. That's a scary duo for opposing defenses. The third spot likely goes to Jalen Tolbert, who took some strides last year and earned more trust in the offense. But he's not guaranteed to hold that role all season. Jonathan Mingo is another name to keep an eye on. He didn't produce much last season, but that was in large part due to backup quarterback play and missed opportunities downfield. If he develops chemistry with Dak and gets more consistent targets, his numbers could jump. Turpin will be used in gadget roles, no doubt. Reverses, screens, maybe some slot routes, but he's not going to be one of your primary weapons. His impact comes in bursts, not volume. That being said, if the Cowboys get even average production from their third and fourth receivers, this passing game has a chance to be really dangerous. At tight end, Jake Ferguson is still the guy. No debate there. He wasn't quite himself last season. Started the year with a knee injury and never really looked right after that. On top of that, he missed Dak. The chemistry just wasn't there with Cooper Rush, and that matters. Ferguson needs to rebound. He doesn't have to be Travis Kelce, but if he gives you what he did in 2023, especially now with Lamb and Pickens drawing coverage, this passing attack could be elite. The offensive line, knock on wood, seems locked in. Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, and Terrence Steele. That's your starting 5 unless injuries hit. And if we're being honest, if someone outside that group is playing major snaps, it probably means something. Went wrong. There's some depth, but this is the group the Cowboys are counting on to protect Dak and open up the run game. Continuity is huge on the line, and this unit has the potential to be one of the more cohesive groups in the league, as long as they stay healthy. Defensively, this team has undergone a major transformation as well. Dan Quinn is out. Matt Eberflus is in. New scheme, new energy, and potentially some growing pains. The defensive tackle rotation will be led by Osa Odigizua and Mazi Smith. Osa is a great fit in this system and could be in for a breakout season. Mazi, though, is facing a critical year. He's had to learn a new scheme every season since entering the league, and that's tough for a young player trying to find consistency. If he doesn't take a step forward, this run defense could be a liability once again, especially in the big games. There's more to break down on a defense, edge rushers, linebackers, the secondary, and a lot of it is fluid. We're going to see some position battles heat up in training camp, and mid-season changes are all but guaranteed. But just from what we've already covered, it's clear this isn't last year's Cowboys team. This is something entirely new. And it could be special or it could be chaotic. Only time will tell. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a development that's sending shockwaves through NFL circles, whispers are growing louder about Dallas Cowboys superstar linebacker Micah Parsons potentially facing a significant suspension following an alleged positive doping test. While no official announcement has been made by the league or the team, sources close to the situation suggest that Parsons may have violated the NFL's performance-enhancing substances policy. a violation that, if confirmed, could carry out a suspension of up to 1 year. The Cowboys, known for their tight-lipped approach in sensitive matters, have yet to comment publicly, but insiders claim that the organization is bracing for impact. Parsons, a cornerstone of the Cowboys' defense and widely regarded as one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league, has not appeared at recent voluntary workouts, further fueling speculation. There's been no indication of what substance Parsons allegedly tested positive for, nor whether the test in question has gone through the usual appeal process. The NFL's policy allows for a confidential process, which means such rumors often swirl for days or weeks before any confirmation or denial surfaces. Still, in the modern social media era, news, or even the possibility of it, spreads quickly, and this latest buzz is no exception. Several league insiders have hinted that the situation could have deeper implications for the Cowboys' 2025 season. A year-long absence for Parsons would not only deal a devastating blow to their defense, but could also influence future contract negotiations, locker room dynamics, and the franchise's broader playoff aspirations. For now, fans and analysts alike are left to parse through the noise, wondering if this is simply a false alarm or the beginning of a major scandal in Dallas. Until the NFL or the Cowboys break their silence, the question remains: is Micah Parsons about to be sidelined for an entire season due to doping? Stay tuned. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.